My name is Michelle, and this is Camryn. She's 3 years old, and just 1 month before her 3rd birthday, she was diagnosed with AML, acute myeloid leukemia. My only symptom was a fever. I was at home, I would just give her Tylenol, the fever would break and then return. I would then give her Tylenol again, the fever would break and return. This was over 3 weeks and many trips to walk-in clinics and Emerge trying to get a diagnosis. We ran different rounds of antibiotics and the fever never broke. And 3 weeks into it, I took her to Emerge and demanded we had some blood work because I thought something more was going on. Never did I think it was cancer. I thought maybe it was an infection that had gotten into her bones or blood. And they ran the blood work. They then sent us to the cancer center in Kingston for the results, where then the oncologist came in and said it was definitive that it was leukemia. With Camryn's diagnosis of AML came a treatment plan of an inpatient treatment. It was March 17th, exactly 1 month before her 3rd birthday. We were admitted to the hospital where we ran 4 months, 4 rounds of chemo. And in between we had admission for fever, for neutropenic. Her being her age and exposed to all the germs, it was the safest place to keep her. Because at home we also have a 1-year-old who we, at the time of diagnosis, had to take him out of daycare. So both my husband and I have been off work because he has to stay home in a germ-free environment while I spend the days with Camryn in the hospital. It took her 2 rounds of chemo before we got our results of remission. We were hoping to have that after the 1st round. And now we are in a remission, and we hope to stay there. But it is a very real possibility. She does have a 50-50 chance of relapse, and of that 50-50 chance, there's an 80% chance of the relapse happening in the first 12 months. We are 3 months into our remission, and we just go back for follow-up on a monthly basis where they do blood work. During the time, these are Camryn's beads of courage that she receives, a bead for each test, each follow-up, each night in the hospital, each round of chemotherapy. So she wears these very proudly, as do I. No, I don't like them. And she also has this small set of beads that we've started for her journey through remission. So it's a very short set, but there'll be many more to add as we follow her on this journey for the next 5 years before they'll call her cured. When Camryn was diagnosed, I had returned to work for just 5 weeks from a maternity leave from her brother. And at that point, when Camryn was admitted for her inpatient treatment, I left him. I had to leave him, you know, at home with grandparents, neighbors, girlfriends, everyone else watching him in a germ-free environment. But as a nursing mom, just cold turkey, had to let him learn on his own a few things. I did miss his first step. Yeah, sorry. I'm okay. And he has a special bead in her beads of courage where he, at the young age of 1, here he is here with his I love you bead, he was tested to be a bone marrow transplant for Camryn. Although he's not a match, you know, he did the test to save the life of his sister. The day of diagnosis, both my husband and I had just taken a sick day, assuming that we were just going to be coming in for a quick blood test and leave with an antibiotic, which was not the case at all. It turned into just 2 hours after diagnosis, we had chemo and our first lumbar puncture, and then got moved to the pediatric floor where we stayed for 4 months for treatment. So amongst all of the emotional withdrawal, everything you go through with having your child's life flash right before your eyes, there's the reality side where bills are due, your employer's waiting for you. What do you tell daycare? What do you tell everyone else? We've been fortunate that we've reached remission. Remission is something I never really knew the truth of until you live it. It's really neither here nor there. It's you've won the fight, but there's still a chance there. For Camryn, we have a 50-50 chance of relapse, which is really, it's a crapshoot, 50-50. This year alone, we have an 80% chance of having the relapse in the first 12 months. They will not call Camryn cured for 5 years. We decided we would take a family vacation to celebrate our remission, but Camryn, we don't qualify for travel insurance. So we can't go anywhere for the next 5 years.